this is the Final Bosman, and on today's episode, I get real worked up about things that don't matter! Welcome to the show. I am Kyle Bosman, and today we are about 1 month away from the first day of E3, or at least the middle of E3. This is crazy. This is that time. It's getting there, and I figured this is probably the last episode I get before I can make a show about anything but E3. So I'm going to do a weird one this week. This week, I want to talk about caring about characters, respecting characters. Because last week, Nintendo had another surprise Nintendo Direct, which are always fun, for Mario Kart 8. And it was a half hour long, and it was very informative, sometimes funny, but they may have revealed too much. Just here's all our characters, here's all courses, here's what everything looks like. For the first time that I can remember, I know everything that's going to be in a Nintendo game before it comes out. A month before it comes out. I think that game is done right now. It's just like, well, our release schedule says we should release it then. Well, give it to us now. What are you doing? And I would have been outraged. I would have been furious if those last characters were cool. If you remember, Mario Kart Wii had Funky Kong as a secret character. Yes, perfect. That is a perfect secret character. Mario Kart 7 had Wiggler. That's pretty great. If either of those were revealed, I'd be outraged. Instead, we got Pink, Gold, Peach, and Baby Rosalina. Baby Rosalina and Pink, Gold, Peach. I guess we've had Metal Mario. He's appeared in Mario Kart games, and Gold Mario is clearly a thing now, so why not Pink, Gold, Peach? Why not miss the point completely of a character-based kart game by adding in a character we've never seen before who shows no character? An expressionless character. Wouldn't that be fun? And that's not even the thing that makes me angry. What makes me angry is this thing. Baby Rosalina. And you might ask, why is a fully grown adult getting so upset about a little baby who wears makeup in a kid's game? I'll tell you why. This all relates to my feelings about Toy Story 3. This is a discussion I get in a lot, even at work and with friends. I get real worked up about this. Toy Story 3, I think, is a terrible movie. And the thing is, generally it's a pretty good movie. I'm still laughing at it. I definitely still cry at the end. But there's one tiny thing that is just a huge thing that destroys the entire world in which Toy Story takes place. I'm speaking, of course, about that switch on Buzz Lightyear's back that is connected to his entire consciousness and his entire being. So halfway through the movie, bad guy pops open Buzz Lightyear's back, flips the switch, Buzz Lightyear's dead. Now we got a new one. That was it. That's all it took. The point of Toy Story 1, the very climax of that movie, is Buzz Lightyear flies. He overcomes his limitations as a toy and is somehow capable of falling with style and then gets into the moving van. That was great. And now, nope, no, actually, all of Buzz Lightyear is tied to his circuit board inside of his body. Meanwhile, all the other characters have no circuit boards. They don't need it. They're just plastic. They're alive. No, but Buzz Lightyear, all of his brain's inside of that circuit board. It's all tied to that. Of course it is. And then later on, when the good friends of his actually managed to pull him down and reset him, they accidentally put him in Spanish mode Buzz, who of course has a whole different personality. Because this one speaks Spanish, he likes to dance more now, and he's smoother with women. Sure, alright. And then, later on, that Buzz Lightyear gets smashed so hard that he turns back into the Buzz Lightyear from the first two movies. Just because he gets smashed hard. And then, in the end, Jessie, his girlfriend, switches him back to Spanish mode because she's more attracted to that one right now. All these different Buzz Lightyears. And at this point, you had to say, hey man, it's a movie about talking toys, just go with it. And to be honest, like, I'm trying, I want to ride down this lazy river with everyone and go with the flow, but things like that are just alligators that they're tossing in, and I'm like, oh, it pulls me out. It pulls me right out of those stories. I don't want that. What if I told you these bushes aren't real? What if I told you they're just some things I found at Michael's and put on the back of chairs every day? That's what it is. That sucks, right? It sucks to know that. And it just sucks to have these dumb little things that are there for move. This will move the story forward if we have Buzz turn bad, and probably get a few laughs if he turns into a Spanish Buzz. That just destroys your entire universe. You numbskulls. Baby Rosalina, for the same reason, should not exist. With Baby Rosalina as a character by herself, they are selling out the character of Rosalina. Why? Well, Super Mario Galaxy is one of my favorite games ever. A lot of people say, Galaxy 2 is better. Why would you like Galaxy 1? It's just like, I don't know, man. Maybe because Galaxy 2 takes place on a big Mario head. Maybe that one makes no sense. Galaxy 1, I think, still holds up as this game that has its own very unique vibe. It's a game that feels unlike other games. It just feels good to be there. Your hub world is like a comet spaceship that comes back to life and is activated by the stars that you collect in the levels, and that those activations allow the ship to travel to new worlds and new video game levels. This is story and environment and video game levels all tied together. It's beautiful. Galaxy 2, here's your world map. I was like, what? I'm in space. Why can't I just fly around those things? It's like, no, just stick to the line, buddy. This is just a video game. Just roll with it. Ugh. One thing I love about Galaxy is its story. So Rosalina is a character introduced in that game, doesn't really have an explanation of what she is. But throughout the game, you collect chapters of a storybook that is optional. You don't have to read that storybook. It's just in the library. And through that story, you learn that Rosalina, the reason she travels alone with all these weird little chubby stars is that her parents died when she was a child. And then these little chubby stars became her family effectively. That kind of story I'm not used to seeing in a Mario game. I'm totally on board for that kind of thing. And so it's like, wouldn't it be cool to see that character as a baby? Like, no! Just to explain where this fury comes from. It's not from like, hey, I don't like the new games you're making. It's that attitude that, hey, those things you liked about those games don't matter to us and we're never gonna do it again. It all comes down to that respect to you, the audience, and respect for the characters. In Toy Story 3, Buzz Lightyear was straight up disrespected. They just disrespected that character. Same thing with DMC, the Devil May Cry remake, disrespecting the old Dante. And not just that, but the fans. It wasn't just like, hey fans, we've created a new take on the character of Dante. Check this out. We hope you like it. Old Dante is not bad. We just created this one. It was, hey, you're an idiot for liking the old design. Here's a cool Dante. You're welcome. Oh, you don't like it? You're already like, oh, it wasn't even that cool. Just, it's all this matter of respect, respecting your audience, respecting your characters. Last week, when all of the Star Wars books and all of the Star Wars video games became non-canon, like I understood that. I would probably do the same thing if I were making the calls, but I still feel for anyone who feels disrespected, who enjoyed those books and video games. I mean, I have to be understanding because I'm the one who's outraged about baby Rosalina. But I mean, in conclusion, to these people, the makers of the universes that we seem to love so much, yes, make the decisions you gotta make, do what you gotta do, but respect your audience by respecting these characters that we seem to respect. It seems like a simple thing, but it's always just, I understand the impulse to want to throw out your old stuff, I get that, but remember that people liked that stuff, and they're not stupid for liking it. Anyway, that is the episode for this week. I will be back here next Wednesday. Gotta start that E3 hype train. Gotta get that going. Not this week though. Weird episode this week. Anyway, if you're on Twitter, you can find me at Kyle Lossman. I'll be back here in this chair next Wednesday. Hope to see you then. Thanks for watching.
Hey, Roy? Yeah? I know I'm new to this whole thing, but did you see that we're racing against babies?
Yeah.
Well, how did they get here? Like some sort of time travel?
No, stupid, those are clones.
Clones?
Yeah, the Lakitus who run the Mario Kart organization created them to add a little whimsy to the competition. I guess to appeal more to girls. The Lakitus get the babies all dolled up, put makeup on them, and at the end of the day care for the babies themselves. So the adult Peach, Daisy, Mario, Rosalina, and Luigi never have to see them.
What happens to the babies when they grow up?
You don't want to know. Let's just say they make new clones.
Wow. Hey, Roy?
Yeah?
Any idea what Pink Gold Peach is supposed to be?
Oh yeah, you know that weird wizard named Kamek?
Of course.
So a long time ago, when Mario wore that hat that turned him into metal, he was actually just wearing some sort of living metal coating. He retained the memory of Mario's shape and movements, but none of his soul, and it just kind of hopped around the desert for a few years. Eventually, the Lakitus found it, gave it a card, mixing things up, and when Bowser saw that symbiote Metal Mario racing against him in the last Mario Kart season, he of course had one idea.
He wanted a Peach.
Exactly, he wanted a Peach. So he talked Kamek into making a new pink gold symbiote hat for Peach, tricked her into wearing it for 30 seconds, and then Pink Gold Peach was born. Problem is, Bowser couldn't love her like the real Peach. They dated for a while, but things weren't working out, and so he kicked her out of the castle. Of course, the Lakitus found her pretty fast, and now we have Bowser's unlovable doll woman racing on the same track with us.
Hey, Roy?
Yeah.
Thanks. Good luck in the next race.
Yeah, you too.
I'm going to destroy you, you jerk.
And we dance like